Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Uncensored Anime Podcast. This is episode 22. Welcome back to all of our old fans, and welcome to our new fans. We are your host. I am David. We got Kenny. We got Jerry. And on this podcast, we just like to talk about anime uncensored, where we provide, just opinions of what's going on in the world. We'll do reviews. We like to talk about, what's about to come out in, beginning of seasons. And today's episode is going to be, one of those things. We're going to just talk about the current state of Shonen Jump and, just give our opinions, just see what's hot right now, what's going to be the next hot anime potentially, just talk about all of those things. So, Jerry, Big Boy, Papa J, start us off.
That's a yee ass haircut there. No, I'm joking. Old memes. Yeah, today's a special episode because we are going to talk about the current state of Shonen Jump. This is a topic that continues to come up across the board, and a lot of this has to do with the fact that Weekly Shonen Jump is a behemoth in the anime and manga industry at the end of the day, right? Shueisha is this massive company that sort of has almost a stranglehold on shonen manga, and shonen manga is the most popular manga and anime in the world. Most of the most popular and best-selling titles are shonen, right? And so us fans, we're big fans of shonen. We're big shonen boys on this podcast. And there's lots of shonen fans out there, right? Shonen is definitely the most popular genre. Those of you that don't know what shonen is, right? We've talked about it a lot on the podcast, but shonen is manga and anime targeted at young boys, okay? And I don't mean like 8-year-olds. I mean 12 to 18, right? So the target audience, the end audience is supposed to be young men. So generally these are, they have action, comedy, a little bit of ecchi, right? A little bit of fun time. It's targeted at young men. So these types of series seem to have the largest and most pervasive audiences across the world. But we are in a unique place for Weekly Shonen Jump. Weekly Shonen Jump is the magazine that gave us smash hits like Dragon Ball, One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, as well as obviously modern classics like My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer. Those are all Weekly Shonen Jump properties. And we need to talk about it. We need to talk about what's going on with this magazine. Is it still doing what it does? Is there whatever? So we want to go through each of the series a little bit and actually talk you through what our thoughts are on some of these series, the directions they're going to go. Could any of these be the future Dragon Ball? Is there something there that could be the next big hit? Or are we going to start seeing more series like Attack on Titan that become these massive hits, but they become these massive hits outside of Weekly Shonen Jump, right? Still a shonen manga, didn't run in Weekly Shonen Jump. That's what Attack on Titan is. So very different perspectives. So we're going to go through all of that today with you all. And yeah, it should be super exciting, honestly. But
before
we get too deep into it, there's a little bit of anime news. Just a little bit. Just one little note.
Little Crumb?
The only thing is this today, essentially, on the day of this recording, they have said that My Hero Academia might be entering its final arc. And I'm not spoiling myself, so I don't know what the arc's going to be about or what the context is, but supposedly the manga is entering its final countdown. And I don't know, boys, what do you guys think about that?
So I think that we are in the final arc of My Hero. I think that we're sort of, I don't know if we're rushing there, but or depending on how long, because shonen arcs can sometimes be very, very long.
Right.
But I think that one of two things will happen, because Horikoshi has been doing My Hero for 306 chapters.
Yeah.
But he also did 97 Vigilantes chapters, so he's now published almost 400 chapters in the My Hero universe.
Did he draw those though? I think he doesn't draw them. I think he just writes them.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not confident, but
let me check.
All I know is that I don't think that we're going to be leaving My Hero, that world behind anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
I do think maybe we'll leave My Hero this sort of group of characters. Maybe we'll just enter a sort of time skip type era. Our characters, for after they get older, they can't very well be in My Hero Academia anymore. They'll just be heroes, in this world. Mm-hmm. So we could obviously see a transition into more young kids learning how to become heroes. Mm-hmm. Or we could obviously transition into all of our characters as adults and, working as full-time heroes and dealing with sort of the fallout of the series. So,
right.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, okay, so to quality check here, Kenny. So he has drawn and authored all of the normal series, which is currently 29 volumes, coming up, a little over 300 chapters is where we're at right now. And that has been running since 2014. He also he wrote a side story called My Hero Academia Smash, but he did not draw it. So that was drawn by Hirofumi Neda. But he did write it, and that was 5 volumes that ran from 2015 to 2017. Mm-hmm. He also he illustrated a series of light novels titled My Hero Academia School Briefs, which are actually still running. So he did the art for those, but he didn't write them. So Henri Yoshi wrote them. So that's a little different. And Vigilantes, he is just a consultor on. So he didn't draw or write on Vigilantes. So there are 11 volumes of Vigilantes, and that series is still running as well. But it is not... that's not him at all. I mean, I assume he's just supporting that production. He does not seem to have any writing or drawing credit on it. But we do have to remember that he did oversee, he was a chief supervisor on both of the My Hero Academia films. So 2 Heroes and Heroes Rising, he did support those projects, which I think is pretty interesting.
As well as the third film coming out, right?
Yeah, he's probably involved in that. I can't imagine he wouldn't be. And then on top of that, there's another series that just started up, My Hero Academia Team Up Missions. This one does not seem to have his involvement either. It seems to be its own thing as well, similar to Vigilantes. So, I mean, the My Hero universe is already kind of sprawling into all these side stories and other authors picking it up already. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the manga is already pretty old at this point. I mean, this is its 7th year.
Yeah. Did y'all know there was going to be plans for a live action My Hero?
Oh,
No.
Jesus Christ. No, I hadn't heard of that.
I just saw it on the wiki.
Oh,
there are plans for a live action film by Legendary Entertainment.
Oh, no. An American live action then? Yeah, it's American. Oh, no.
That'll be interesting.
Okay, there's one manga that got translated very well into a great movie, and that's All You Need Is Kill, which got translated Edge of Tomorrow, which now is called Live, Die, Repeat, I believe. That Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt movie. Great. That was a good movie. And it translated the manga fairly well, honestly.
Yeah. I forgot about that when we talked about
Legendary also did Pokemon Detective Pikachu, which was pretty good, in my opinion.
I like Detective Pikachu.
And the Godzilla movies.
Okay, well.
I mean, it doesn't give me super... I mean, it's just always... It's hard to be hopeful about live action. We talked about this last week. I mean, it's hard to be hopeful about live actions. But, yeah, so My Hero's in an interesting place. I mean, my guess, Kenny, is that you're right that, this is not going to be a short arc. Saying it's entering its final arc. Remember when Bleach entered its final arc and then it still ran for, 3 years? You know what I mean? This could be a total, throwaway line. Entering its last arc, but it's actually, by arc, he means, over arc, a big arc, and there's actually going to be 7 sub-arcs inside of it or something, you know?
Right. I always remember Reborn's time skip arc. That was fucking 250 chapters or some shit.
Yeah.
It was an immense amount of time in this manga. So
right. So this final arc could mean, it could mean My Hero's going to end this year. It could mean My Hero's going to end 5 years from now. Honestly, we don't know how long that means. Honestly, and I genuinely think that Shueisha is a very greedy company. They're pretty well known for being manipulative with their authors and pushing them to go further and to keep their series running longer when it's making money. So I feel like with a series like My Hero, which is pretty much a guaranteed success worldwide right now, they're going to try to convince the story to just keep going as long as they can. So hopefully Horikoshi gets to end it in some place that he feels confident or happy with. I really would hate for it to get dragged out and become a mess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see as the years go on, what that means. But it's certainly it's important to talk about that because it's a big part of the conversation we're about to have, which is the current state of Shonen Jump, right? It's hard to have that conversation without recognizing, holy shit, My Hero might be ending soon.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother conversation. But was there any other news from this week, guys, that we missed?
I don't think so. Maybe some new announcements. I never can keep track which announcements we talk about, which ones we don't. But
yeah, we went over a lot of new show announcements last week, and obviously the new season's coming up soon, and blah 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 blah. So we will be seeing a lot of all those new shows. People are going to be excited about X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty dry week in news, honestly.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing a lot of stuff come up, so I'm not too worried about that. So let's get into our big conversation tonight, right? This is the this is it, right, guys? Like, everyone, if you're an anime commentator like this, it comes up frequently. This current state of Shonen Jump, or what that means, right? So I think to start us off, we have to take a look back. We got to take a look back. A little history lesson with Jerry. I've done some of these on the podcast before, so I think it's important we do a little history lesson really quick. If you guys have watched our JoJo episode, I spent like 30 minutes doing like a JoJo's history lesson. But boys, please chime in and cut me off when you think of things. But
all right,
we got to go all the way back, right? Way back in the day, in like the 50s, 60s, manga was just becoming a popular art form in Japan. And you can mainly look to creators like Osamu Tezuka and Go Nagai for kind of popularizing manga, right? Tezuka was kind of in the 60s. Nagai kind of started in the 70s. These are big names in old school manga. There's tons of other names. If you go back, you'll find all sorts of old school manga from those eras that sort of started to set this tone for manga as a art form, or whatever you want to call it, right? So in 1968, Shueisha made this decision. Shueisha is a big publishing house, right? They wanted to compete with some of the other shonen magazines on the market, and they came up with their own shonen magazine. What this was, it was going to be a weekly publication where multiple stories were collected together into one magazine, and you'd go pick it up and you get to read the new chapter of all of these series. So it's a really cool idea. In the 60s, it sounded like a cool idea, right? You get to pick up your weekly magazine, you get to read a bunch of different stories you like. You can kind of pick and choose which one you read. And at the time, they were competing against the older ones, which were Shonen Sunday and Shonen Magazine, which have also produced some major hits. Boys, tell me, I'm thinking of like major hits. Shonen Magazine, Shonen Sunday. What are some major hits from those magazines? Can you guys think of any off the top of your head?
JoJo's is running in Shonen Sunday right now, isn't it?
No, JoJo's is still under Shueisha. Oh, okay. Here's some good ones. Just the top. I looked it up a little bit. So Shonen Magazine is pretty much the sole owner of Hiro Mashima. So Rave Master, Fairy Tail, and Eden Zero all ran over there. They're also the main producers for Atsushi Okubo, so Soul Eater and Fire Force are both popular series from Weekly Shonen Magazine. They also have a couple very popular sports mangas like Ace of the Diamond, which Kenny, you've watched, I think, most of that.
I like Ace of the Diamond, yeah. But there's another one that runs on there.
Yeah, there's one that's running.
By the author Muneyuki Kaneshiro. It's called Blue Lock, I think.
His favorite new manga. Blue Lock is running in Shonen Magazine as well. So that's Weekly Shonen Magazine. Huh?
I think Kaneshiro often. Let me look it up. But
I think Kaneshiro might.
Mm-hmm. They had Fly Me to the Moon and Komi Can't Communicate. Or
so a lot of
currently
stuff
running in Shonen
Weekly
Sunday.
Shonen Magazine, and I want to say Weekly Shonen Magazine might have been one of the very first to do this format, because they go all the way back to 1959 is when Weekly Shonen Magazine first started.
Yeah, Weekly Shonen also did As the God Wills by Muneyuki Kaneshiro.
So then there's Shonen Sunday, which in my opinion kind of gets carried by Case Closed, which has been running in Shonen Sunday for forever. Mm-hmm. So Case Closed is a massive one from that manga. What else runs over there? I thought Hajime no Ippo was in Shonen Sunday, but I could be wrong.
No, that's Shonen Magazine.
So okay, Ippo's also in Shonen Magazine, which that's a huge one to remember. Oh, yeah. Major runs in Shonen Sunday. Yep. I know Kenny knows Major.
And Major second.
Yeah. Okay, so these two mangas, they actually predate Shonen Magazine and Shonen Sunday. They predate Weekly Shonen Jump, so you guys know. So Shonen Jump was not the first to market with this concept of putting a bunch of stories together. And Shueisha actually was more of jumping on the hype train. They were like, okay, people are really digging this. We're gonna make our own. And essentially over the 70s and 80s, the main people who sort of held that production up were people like Go Nagai, who were producing things like Devilman and Mazinger. Those are Go Nagai. So those are the people that were holding. And then there's a really popular series that came in the early days of Shonen Jump, right? So in the 1980s is when we finally see it happen, and that's when Dragon Ball is first published. And Dragon Ball is a massive, massive hit for Weekly Shonen Jump. So prior to Dragon Ball, it was competitive, but it was not the gold standard until Dragon Ball came around. And pretty much ever since then, Weekly Shonen Jump massively jumped ahead in sales and became the gold standard for shonen manga. If you wanted to get in the most prestigious shonen manga, Weekly Shonen Jump was the one to be there because they just proceeded to produce hit after hit after hit. I mean, Slam Dunk, Yu Yu Hakusho, Shaman King, One Piece, Bleach, Naruto. I mean, Kinnikuman, Fist of the North Star, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. These are all, you can sit here and name off so many Weekly Shonen Jump, and whether you're an anime fan or not, there's probably multiple titles that have run on Weekly Shonen Jump that you probably know. Maybe you haven't seen it all or seen them all the way through, but you probably know of these series. You might not be able to name many from the 70s or before, but after the 80s, it started to become this massive cultural phenomenon coming out of Weekly Shonen Jump. And that is when it set that gold standard. So it slowly overtook the other two magazines. It's now, it's the better selling of the two. It sells more issues each week or whatever. So Shonen Jump has become this megalith, this monolith of experience for shonen manga authors. But what does that mean in 2020? Right? What does that mean in 2020, boys? Because nowadays, with the power of streaming and access through the internet, can a weekly published magazine continue to compete, and can they continue to produce hits? And I'd say 5 years ago, the answer was obvious that it was yes, right? I mean, Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, Kuroko's Basketball, Haikyuu, Food Wars, pretty much all of the massive shonen from 2010 to 2020 were still coming out of Weekly Shonen Jump. If you were involved at all in the shonen genre, that's where you were mainly still getting the larger spread of series. So I think only in the last 2 or 3 years has the conversation started to shift, and it's because of titles like Attack on Titan, right? That have made people think, wow, that's a series that got turned down from Weekly Shonen Jump, and here we are, right? That's a whole nother thing. And look at how huge it is, right? And then, obviously the adaptations of light novels have started to take over a massive portion of conversation. People are watching more anime adapted from light novels than ever before. And we're really starting to have those conversations. Can this continue forward? Is there still something in Weekly Shonen Jump that we as shonen fans are going to continue to come back for? Because I think a lot of people thought it was over once Bleach and Naruto ended. I think a lot of people thought the age of Shonen Jump was over. And they were just, I think we all were surprised by Demon Slayer and My Hero essentially stepping in and dominating the conversation. They stepped in and just said, all right, well, they're over, but here we are, Yeah,
so those mangas are almost appeal more to American audiences. And I think that the effect of American audiences on Shonen Jump has become more evident now than it ever has been.
Yeah. One Punch Man is also under the Weekly Shonen. It's under Shueisha.
Yeah.
So it doesn't actually run in Weekly Shonen for those curious. But they do own the property. The same company does. So know that they still have. Shueisha is bigger than just Weekly Shonen Jump. Also, they have a lot of other massive properties that are coming out of their other publishing areas. So that's something to think about as well. But so here we are now. In modern Jump, Demon Slayer's over, right?
Yep.
Haikyuu?
Over.
Food Wars?
Over.
Done.
Promised Neverland?
Promised
Over.
Neverland? Done.
Yep.
Chainsaw Man?
Going to Sunday.
Part 1 done.
Yeah, but moved out of Weekly Shonen Jump.
Out,
Yep.
What did
My Hero potentially might be ending soon.
My Hero? Almost over. So what comes next? What the fuck do they even have left, boys? So that's what we're here to talk about. Now that we have
Jujutsu Kaisen.
covered the past, let's talk about the present before we get into the future. So now we've gone over the past. You guys listening, hopefully this helped a little bit to frame this, right? Because you might be just an anime fan, but know that almost all anime is not every anime. There's lots of original animes and a lot that are based off light novels and other properties, but a lot of anime is based off of manga that run in these weekly manga magazines. And those are the ones that are producing a lot of money. And that's where you got to look when you start to really think about the culture of anime creation, because they're usually being made off of these mangas. So I don't know. With the present, what do you guys want to start with? Do you want to go through an alphabetical? Do you want to talk about the popular stuff?
I think we should start with two in particular.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Two in particular. That's two. And I think it's Burn the Witch and Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, okay.
Because technically, Hunter x Hunter is still published in Weekly Shonen Jump. Whenever it runs randomly throughout the years, whenever it does publish chapters, it runs in Shonen Jump. And it almost is, I don't even know. Like, I don't know if it should go to monthly or if it or what Togashi wants to even do with it, because we are in the middle of I cannot express how mildly infuriating it is that every time it comes back, it becomes he adds so much more depth to the arc that we're in. It feels like we are not close to a conclusion, and that's almost upsetting.
And it looks like it looks like we're over 2 years since his last published chapter now. So we're now on another 2-year hiatus, boys.
He was good for about 3 years. It was about 10 chapters every year. And I got to be honest, Hunter x Hunter chapters are thick on the words. So they're long chapters just for reading's sake, because there's a lot of information. And I think that Hunter x Hunter in particular, because it continues to just come back, it's almost like a phantom whenever it comes to Shonen Jump. And even though it is still being published in Weekly Shonen Jump, it almost doesn't exist, We love it whenever it comes back, but Right. And then Burn the Witch, we have no idea whenever it's going to start. I expect it to be a real, fully functional Weekly Shonen Jump manga. But, Kubo is Kubo. And
yeah, he's been pretty silent on both Bleach news and Burn the Witch news.
Right.
He's like, I want to write manga again, I guess. And I mean, he's awesome. I enjoy Burn the Witch.
We'll let Kubo come back when he wants. I mean, those two, honestly, like, in my mind, Shueisha holds those guys in their manga because they just don't want to lose them. It's like, they don't want to
somewhere else.
Yeah, if Kubo or Togashi wanted to publish manga anywhere, every other magazine would be fighting for them. So Shueisha's kind of at the point where they're like, we'll pay him whatever, we'll keep him on the staff. Just, as long as you guys only publish with us, right? As long as you're with us, we won't do anything about it. So I think that's why they continue to hold a spot in the magazine, and they'll just, they come back when they feel like it. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, Hunter x Hunter is the weirdest one in my mind. He's only published, 50 chapters in the last 10 years almost, or something like that?
Something like
that.
It looks like the whole Dark Continent so far has been about 50 chapters. And,
hiatus started near the end of Chimera Ant, so.
Oh yeah, he actually started taking breaks near the end of Chimera Ant, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. So, but luckily, the Chimera Ant arc, he did finish it, and then
he did the Chairman arc.
Yeah, we got that.
And now we aren't even on the Dark Continent arc. We're in the Kakin family.
Right.
Throne arc, I guess.
I haven't read I read a little bit of after the anime, but I've kind of just decided, like, part of me just hopes that one day he finishes it and it gets animated. Like, that's the dream for me, because I want it to get there, because that'd be awesome. But I mean, it's like you said, Kenny, supposedly these last 50 chapters have been nothing but making the world bigger instead of smaller.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, because everyone's hoping he's building towards a conclusion, but it doesn't feel like that.
It does not.
So I don't know if I hate to say it, but I don't know if we're ever going to see the end of Hunter x Hunter. I don't know if we're ever going to. I don't know if we're going to see it.
The rumor is his wife knows the ending and will finish it for him if, God forbid, he ends up passing away or something.
He's already 54 years old. He's old. Like, I mean, he's not old, but he's definitely at a point where it's like, okay, and he's obviously always had bad health issues. That's part of what caused the hiatus.
Yeah.
So it's like,
back issues,
I don't see him. Yeah, something back. I've heard wrists. I've heard internal issues. I don't know if he's ever been super upfront about all of the issues he has dealt with physically, but I think he's pretty much just been in a lot of physical issues for the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah. And isn't it like he's in, well, I don't, I guess we don't know.
it was probably writing manga that made him that way. I hate to say it.
For sure.
I mean, if you write a new chapter of a manga every week from when he started Yu Yu Hakusho to when he started his hiatuses in Hunter x Hunter, I just feel like it takes a toll on the body. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like, unfortunately, his health issues are a byproduct of his career. And it's because the career path has not done great to take care of their mangaka. But that's just my perspective.
And he's a bit of a perfectionist. I know that his art in particular is in the early parts of Hunter x Hunter. His art is so like good, and you can tell that it was tough for him later on to be okay with the idea that we were going to push the chapter out, even though it wasn't perfect like you wanted it. So
right, so that knocks out those two series. So to me, Burn the Witch and Hunter x Hunter are kind of they're important, they're valuable, they're in the magazine. They're really not going to carry the magazine right now. Neither of them have that potential or really capacity to do that. So they're kind of out of the conversation. So what do we want to step into next? We want to go on the lower end?
Let's start from oldest to newest.
The big ones?
Let's
oldest to newest.
Let's go from oldest to newest.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's see who's been carrying the torch, and then we can go into who can potentially continue carrying that torch.
So there's one, obviously.
Big Papa.
Running for 1,000 chapters now. One Piece is One Piece. I don't have much to say about One Piece because it's One Piece. Like, I don't know what it's going to keep running until it's not running anymore. Okay.
I mean, at this point, it's very hard. I think a lot of people since the pandemic have jumped in and finally caught up to One Piece because they've had more time on their hand, and we've seen a boom in One Piece fans that never were willing to give it a shot before, but have now finally got into it in the US especially. And people obviously love it because for those of us that have been fans for 10, 15 years, like One Piece is the best thing ever. I mean, it's just so fucking good. Like, it's just amazing. And it just keeps going. And I really do believe that until Oda decides to finish it, no one's going to stop him. He's just going to go until he's only 46 years old, guys. He started writing One Piece when he was like fucking like younger than all three of us.
19, right?
Yeah, he was young as fuck, dude. And so if he started in 1997 and he's currently 46, how old would he have been in 97?
It's 24 years ago.
24. So 22?
He would have been 22. He would have been 22 years old. Yeah.
So, no, that's still younger than all of us. I'm 24 now, okay?
No, I know. He is still young. Yeah, absolutely. At 22 years old, this man started One Piece, and he's just still going. And multi-millionaire, one of the best-selling authors of all time. One Piece will always be a staple of Shonen Jump until they decide to end it. Yeah. And it's kind of in its own category. It doesn't really feel like... the best way to put it is I don't think people are rushing out to buy Weekly Shonen Jump there are probably a lot of people who still buy it weekly in Japan to read the new chapter of One Piece. I do think that's probably a real thing.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't think it's bringing in new fans. It's not new fan entry level, right? So like if you're a new fan and you want to jump in and become a fan of anime, One Piece is actually super daunting. Do you guys know anyone who that's like their first anime?
No.
No, it never is.
The response to One Piece is, oh, how many episodes is it? Oh, it's about almost 1,000 episodes. Nope. They just don't even try it. Yeah. After they hear the episode count, it's not even a chance.
And that's crazy because it's just hard. It's definitely not. It's not selling Weekly Shonen Jump worldwide anymore. It's carrying it for sure. It's carrying massive sales numbers for the fans that are still with it, which it's obviously worldwide one of the most I don't know how to gauge popularity, but if we're just counting worldwide sales, it's technically the most popular anime and manga of all time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what else to say about it other than like that's One Piece. Like it's just going to keep doing its thing.
Yep.
So One Piece, we can scoot One Piece aside.
Do you think though that that Jump will take a giant hit once One Piece ends? Do you think it's going to lose like a bunch of fans?
I don't think so.
I think that's going to be the scary part. I think that when One Piece ends, it's going to be maybe not. Kenny, what do you think, Kenny?
I don't think so. I agree with you in the sense that you aren't getting new manga fans from One Piece.
Yeah.
And so because of that, and people that read manga read other manga other than One Piece, right?
Yeah.
People that are caught up with One Piece on the weekly chapters are reading other things that they're interested in already. And so it's not going to deter them from still picking up a Weekly Shonen Jump every week.
Right. I think your major issue is like, right. But I think the big scary part for Weekly Shonen Jump is going to be, do they have something to be in the magazine that's going to be keeping people around like that? And I think that's why we're in such a weird place right now, because it's like, oh, like we have to have this conversation of like, someone at Shueisha's company has probably sat there and been like, oh, we're fucked when we lose One Piece, dude. Like, they're probably, you know, I just imagine this little dude just like at his desk, like, yo, are we gonna have jobs? Like, I don't know. Like, you know, I just imagine. I don't know. So that's funny to me. But yes, One Piece is One Piece is One Piece. It is definitely carrying the manga, but is it the salvation of the manga that Weekly Shonen Jump needs? That I'm not sure of. You know, that I'm not sure of.
Yeah, it's like everybody gets a gallon of milk from the grocery store every week. That's not the only thing you get at the grocery store. But
One Piece is a gallon of milk. You know,
One Piece is a gallon of milk.
Get some eggs. You might get some jujutsu. You might get some bread. You know. So
yeah. There are some things you need, but hey, you got to get your milk. You got to get milk. Fuck. Okay.
That was pretty. That was pretty good analogy.
So if we keep moving up, here's where things get kind of dicey.
Which is crazy. The next one, I can't believe it.
The next one, which would have been, how many years after? This would have been 14, 15, 16,
17 years after One Piece.
17 years later, another manga starts. And that's so all of the stuff that started in between One Piece starting and this next manga starting has all finished. Yeah. So that's crazy. 14 years of Jump, and One Piece is the only thing still left hanging on. From those 14 years. So all of those series have come to a conclusion, except for, and now, so in July of 2014, you have My Hero Academia, which we've already mostly talked about. And I would say that in some ways is also another, I mean, I guess it's now long running. I don't know. It sounds weird. Like, My Heroes.
It's been running 8 years now?
Yeah, 7 years.
7 years?
It's entered that territory. I mean, it's over 300 chapters. It's coming up on its 5th season of its anime. I mean, 3 big budget movies, I guess it's a big deal now. And it's crazy that just 7 years ago it didn't exist. Like, I don't know. So My Hero is what I think a lot of people would consider the part of the future of Shonen Jump. It's probably one of the few that people say, like, when they're thinking of like, yeah, like this is one that's probably going to last a long time. So I think the announcement today kind of puts some people on edge, because My Hero can't leave Weekly Shonen Jump. Like, it just, like, I don't think Shueisha or anyone wants that. I don't know. Maybe we do. I don't know. Part of me wants it to end good, if that makes any sense. Weekly Shonen Jump has a history of having terrible endings. There's the whole story about Shaman King. I think I've told it on the podcast before, but you know, if you know anything about Shaman King, the mangaka was so burnt out by the end, his ending was terrible. So he literally rewrote it and wrote 15 more chapters to like make a new ending to it many years later, after he was not burnt out, because he was just so upset with his ending. If you go look at Yu Yu Hakusho's ending, Togashi has admitted that he was just bored. So he just got, like, the ending just got thrown in, you know?
He skipped to the end.
Look at series like Ice Shield 21. Some people
Ice Shield got pushed. I think the last 30
Ice Shield finally got canceled, right? Same thing with Bleach. Fucking Bleach got canceled. And because that, I mean, they let him go for like 150 chapters, but still, but beside the point, they still moved him out. You know, he even though he had been a staple for hundreds of chapters straight, they pretty much were like, you're not really making money anymore, Kubo. Go on now. So part of me worries, right? Like, maybe Horikoshi is making the right move by ending it in a 10-year span, right? Maybe My Hero can have a better legacy if it's only about 10 years long instead of 20 years long, right? Like,
and the worst
maybe that's
what
we need. I don't know.
You know, at Shonen Jump, the cutthroat nature of the publisher, and the fact that, you know, series, if they're, you know, not in the popularity for long enough, they're just canceled. And how we're in an age now where if you want to, you can just publish online. straight out, right?
Yeah.
And you can just have somebody pay $2 or whatever to subscribe to your manga. That, I think more and more authors are going to tend to not want to, the publication.
Look at Mob Psycho.
Yeah.
Look at Mob Psycho.
And One Punch Man, even though One Punch Man is licensed by Shueisha,
it is now.
They do whatever the fuck they want. They release whenever, right?
Yeah. And they do. It's because one is not really beholden to them. He can do whatever he wants.
Exactly. And the person who draws it, Yusuke Murata, is just, they just do whatever they want. And I think that freedom for a mangaka is really important. And I think that more of them are seeing that. And I do think that Shonen Jump is entering a point where maybe, I don't know, the fact that they can just cancel things, especially if a story is good and it has a following, an author can just go and continue to write that, depending on, I don't know, the legality of it.
Right. They probably have to get some sort of, I'm sure that Shueisha owns the rights to, because Shaman King's an interesting one. It's one of the few that we've talked about on this before. It's one of the few that has left Shueisha. So you won't see Yo showing up in any Jump Stars or Jump Force anymore. And the reason for that is because another publishing house actually bought out Shaman King from Shueisha. And so now they own all the back issues, and they've given Takei the opportunity to continue publishing in the same world. He's writing Shaman King side stories still to this day. And it's because another publishing house bought it out for him, and now that he's moved out. That's why you haven't seen Takei ever come back. Hiroyuki Takei, he's never come back to write again in Shonen Jump. I don't know if he had like a falling out, per se. It definitely kind of seems that way on paper. But no, there's never been any public admission of that. Right. It just seems that, time's moved on and he got his manga out from under that. So yeah, you're right. I wonder if like the author of Siren has ever considered trying to get his series and going and continuing it. Right.
Right.
But as of now, he definitely has not tried, but there's definitely a potential there where someone could, with the right money and power, move their series out and continue it and keep going with it. But yeah, I think I'm torn about My Hero because part of me is like, it needs to continue to help Jump stay alive because it's kind of it's one of those magazines that is bringing in new readers still, to be honest. Like, My Hero is still bringing in new fans every day. And you're constantly seeing new fans come in for My Hero. And I think that's good for the magazine. But also, I really want My Hero to have a good ending. Like, I want it to be good. You know what I mean? Like, I want Horikoshi to feel good about it. And when it ends, like, I want him to end it on his terms and not on Shueisha's money. And fuck it, if they end up making 7 My Hero spinoffs that have nothing to do with him, that's fine, because then I can just move on and be done with the story he wrote and not have to worry about all that shit. Because Titan has a bunch of fucking spinoffs right now. Saint Seiya has a bajillion spinoffs, but you don't have to worry about those because the authors just aren't involved. So it's like you can just read the story and enjoy it and be over it. So I hope that My Hero, at the very least, Horikoshi walks away on his own time, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this before too on the podcast that the vibes from how, like, with the recent chapters, how it's going, it doesn't feel like to me like a final ending. It just seems like the end of a part in a transition into something new, like a Shippuden.
Yeah.
So and that would be good for Shueisha because that would just mean more My Hero money in their pockets for a few more years. So hopefully that's and most importantly more My Hero content because the universe, I feel like there's so much more in the universe that needs to be explained and talked about. And so a Shippuden-esque My Hero would give it that opportunity.
Yeah, I would enjoy that. I think.
Yeah, I think the story also opened with because all of this is technically a flashback.
It opens with this is how I became the number one hero.
Right, so maybe the next part would be him actually as a hero, and like Kenny was saying earlier, everyone's an adult, being a hero would be really cool. So,
yep. Dang. Okay, so My Hero. I mean, it's definitely when we talk about current stage Shonen Jump, we have to acknowledge that it's holding it down. Honestly.
Yeah.
But the next series up. I talk too much shit on it, but it's not.
Okay, I like Black Clover.
I talk too much shit.
It's not terrible.
Black Clover honestly could continue for forever, right? It is so the story is not important. It's the fact that the characters are whacking each other really hard.
Right.
And and I love that. Okay. I love Black Clover every week. It's so enjoyable every single week. And so it is that perfect, just like, oh, it's shonen and bullshit. Like just like 2 weeks ago, just some crazy shit happened, and it was just like, oh well, like let's keep going.
The one thing I have to give Black Clover is that all these other manga have come and gone in the last 6 years. So many, and good ones that are very popular. Chainsaw Man, Promised Neverland. These mangas that have started and ended in the short time since Black Clover started. And because of that, Black Clover just continued to be, it just continued to get overshadowed. Like it's just very formulaic. It's a very standard shonen. But here we are in 2021, and I'm thinking Black Clover's the guy. Like he's the guy. I like when I think of the modern era of anime fans, Black Clover is like the perfect entry point. It's this generation's fucking Naruto to some degree. Like, it is literally.
It's really easy to get into.
It's easy to read. It's easy to get into.
It's more reliable.
If you don't really watch manga or anime, you can start watching Black Clover, start reading it, and bada bing, bada boom. So Black Clover has now, despite it never being number one, never being the best in sales, it just it's holding on in that second layer and has just held on forever. And here we are, Black Clover. So I don't know. I feel weird about it because, Kitty, do you think I'm not caught up on the manga? David, are you caught up on the manga or no?
I am not.
I'm caught up.
Okay, so Kenny, you're caught up. Do you think, based from your assessment, I have heard nothing about it, does Black Clover look like it's ending anytime soon?
I don't know, man. Every arc, it feels like the whole world's exploding. So, like the last 3 arcs, it felt like the world was going to explode.
Oh my god.
So I don't know. They're like fighting devils now or some shit. Like,
and so it doesn't feel like. Does it feel like Yuki Tabata is building to a conclusion anytime?
No. Unless this is, it felt like he was building towards a conclusion the last 2 arcs.
Jesus. Okay. Well.
So
you never know.
He could write forever. Here's the Black Clover formula. The arc starts. You meet this new character. He actually is a part of the Black Bulls. After becomes really strong, then whacks somebody with his sword, and that's it.
All
it doesn't matter how strong the other being is. If there's there's some sort of angel or demon or some sort of I don't even know. He whacks him with his sword, and he wins. And that's it. There's nothing else to it.
That blows my mind.
And then you'll get in between, as to getting stronger and whacking the dude with the sword. You'll get some of the other people whacking them with their swords or magic because they use magic. He just used a sword.
I think Black Clover's fun. I enjoyed what I saw of it, and I eventually plan to probably go back and watch the rest. I don't know if I'll ever read it, but I'll probably watch the anime. And the animation looks really clean, and the fight scenes look really cool. So I'll probably watch the anime. I don't have any glaring issues with it, other than that it's just very simple. But I don't know if that's a problem all the time. Sometimes, like 7 Deadly Sins, I like watching a simple anime. It can be fun to just watch something simple. And there's other times like Fire Force where I just can't get into it. It just doesn't work for me. No matter how hard I try, it's simple, but it just doesn't work. And so, but Black Clover, it's completely inoffensive, and it is a very good introductory manga. And I think that if they drag it out for another 5 or 10 years, no one will be upset about it because no one likes Black Clover that much, but it might still continue to be the perfect entry point for new fans. So Black Clover is definitely becoming a kind of, to me now, so One Piece is on this god tier status, right? So to me, My Hero and Black Clover are driving Weekly Shonen Jump. They're in the front seat. They're driving this magazine forward right now. And I don't know if there's anything to change that direction right now. They are the major driving forces in this magazine when it comes to bringing people in, when it comes to keeping fans hooked. My Hero and Black Clover, they're at the front. And I didn't think that was going to be the case, because I thought Demon Slayer was going to be that. I thought Promised Neverland was going to be that. I thought all these other shows that were massively popular were going to be that. Then they just all ended. So it's So Black Clover has accidentally become one of the front seat drivers of this magazine. So then we have this one that it's been going for longer than I really even realized.
Yeah.
Ripuro Inagaki.
We've got
the author of Ice Shield 21.
Yep. So he's already got a massive manga behind him.
Dr. Stone.
Dr. Stone. Yeah, yep. Dr. Stone. So partnered with an artist that is not even a Japanese. The artist Boichi is from South Korea, and had done some manhwa before, right? I think.
Yeah, he did a
Sunken Rock, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, I thought he did he did a manga as well.
He did a manga also.
Yeah, he did Terraform Mars Gaiden as a manga.
Oh, yeah. He did work on some Terraform Mars. But yeah, so a pretty interesting artist from South Korea teams up with a tried and true Shonen Jump author and pulls out Dr. Stone a couple years ago. And it is now, again, it's weird to think that it's like the fifth oldest series running in Weekly Shonen Jump right now, because it feels so new to me. Like Dr. Stone, it only has 1.5, the new season is like 11 episodes. It only has 1.5 seasons of anime. Like, it still feels so new, but it has already kind of become, it's old. I mean, it's one of the oldest ones running in the damn magazine now.
Yeah. And I don't think Dr. Stone, because Dr. Stone is so different, it's not a classic shonen battle manga, and it's also not a comedy. Because it's sort of this, I don't know, this Bill Nye the Science Guy style of manga that is sort of, it teaches you a little bit. It's also fun and interesting. I don't see it going anywhere, and I don't think, it doesn't seem like we're anywhere close to an end. Maybe a couple years from now, we might be closer to something, and because I don't know, I don't want to spoil anything actually. So I
think Dr. Stone. Yeah, Dr. Stone feels like one of those series that could just kind of go on. Like, it's not a shonen battle manga. It doesn't really have, each arc of the series is more. It's focused around inventions and creativity, and they can kind of just do what they want with it, and it's because of that it's super fun to read. And also super fun to watch. So I love Dr. Stone, but by no means do I see it as, despite its age, it is not really the third player in our top in this year in the magazine right now. To me, it's not a driving force for this magazine. I don't think people are buying Weekly Shonen Jump just to read Dr. Stone. I don't think fans are finding Dr. Stone as their first entry or gateway into anime or manga. Dr. Stone might be one of their first couple. Because they want to find stuff that's like what they've watched, but it's not going to be the type to bring in random people that have never seen anime before. It's pretty uniquely Japanese in its delivery. It has a lot of innate things about it. I don't know. I just don't think it's the perfect sort of manga. To me, it's got like the Gintama to it, right? It can go on forever.
It's niche. It's pretty niche.
It can go on forever. It's going to keep the magazine. It's going to keep that sort of space in that area where like Gintama was for 15 years, 20 years or whatever. And it'll just get to exist and keep going and be a lot of fun for those who have been a part of it. And for those who find it and discover it, it'll keep going as well. I don't know. What do you guys, I don't know.
I feel the same way.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's good. It's the art. I love the art. The art is amazing.
Yeah, me too.
And the story itself, it's a unique story, but because of how niche it is with its focus on science, I mean, I think calling it Bill Nye the Science Guy, the anime is perfect, because that's exactly what it is.
You learn a little something, and you have a lot of fun along the way. That's
you know how to make know how to make gunpowder. You know how to make ramen from a random grain in the forest. So
yes. Or as if you guys have seen the latest episodes, so spoiler warning if you're watching the new season. You make dynamite, just a little dynamite, or maybe you'll make a giant tank. I don't know.
Giant tank.
Maybe some rubber.
No big deal. So Dr. Stone is cool. It's cool. It's eclectic. It's unique. It's quirky. It's going to stay in this magazine. It's not selling volumes. If you're Shueisha trying to figure out how to market Weekly Shonen Jump going forward, Dr. Stone is probably not the guy you stick on the cover every week, right? You don't put Senku and Taiju in their fucking Stone Age outfits on the front. That's just not, it's not really what this is right now. And I think, again, great series. I love it. And if you haven't read or watched it, you should go read or watch it. It's really awesome. But yeah, next show.
The new daddy in town. The new daddy.
The new boy in town for sure.
I'm concerned though, because the current arc,
it's gonna end, isn't it, Kenny?
It makes it seem like maybe we're headed towards an ending.
Oh no!
Man, every good manga in Shonen Jump lately, they've given them too much freedom. They quit forcing them to work, and they just let them in their stories when they're ready. I'm not okay with that. Okay, they gotta keep working for 15 years.
There's not enough fingers left. Okay.
What if Sukuna has 3 hands, Kenny? What if
he has 4 hands?
4 hands.
What if he's got? Hey, Kenny, what if he's got 6 hands? I don't know.
He got secret arm.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that.
We got to find Sukuna's toes next, Kenny.
Jujutsu Kaisen did a good job of bounding its power scale, where Gojo Satoru is the strongest and Sukuna is the strongest, right?
Yep.
But because of that, as he eats more fingers, there's not much space left for story, you know? Like, I don't know. It's tough. We're in I don't know. It seems like we're entering a training arc right now in the manga. But it seems like an interesting arc. This latest chapter seems interesting. This next arc will be, but I don't know if we'll get 1 more, maybe 2 more arcs after that, and that may be it. It just all depends. It depends on how things happen going forward, especially as we answer more questions. This week, it answered a very big question.
Ooh.
And without many more questions, you can't really continue to write a story off of that. And I think that, I wouldn't be surprised if Jujutsu Kaisen ends in the next 2 years, maybe.
Right.
Probably about 2 years. I think we still have a little bit of time, but I do think we're getting close.
Maybe that's okay. I mean, maybe, Jujutsu Kaisen is a great entry anime for people. It's a wonderful, perfectly, it's like one of those shonen perfection type of shows. Like it's just mastered what the shonen category can be like. And as a manga and as an anime, it's just doing it great. And I really like that.
Was Jujutsu ranking high in shonen before the anime dropped?
It was popular. Yeah, to my understanding, it was a very popular series. And it's why, if you look at the years that stuff has come out, it's the only series that came out in 2018 that is still around.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. And Jujutsu was ranking up there with the other giants before. So I don't think there was any concern that when Jujutsu got an anime, I think we all knew it was going to be popular, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it was already on the radar of anyone who was reading Weekly Shonen Jump as like, oh, that's going to be a big deal, Just like with Chainsaw Man. Like we all know when Chainsaw Man's anime comes out,
it's going to be the talk. It's going to be what Jujutsu was last year.
It's going to blow the fuck up.
Chainsaw Man's fucking wild, bro.
Everyone and their mom is going to know Chainsaw Man when the anime came. Have you guys already, that song that's like, Chainsaw, Chainsaw. Have you guys heard that?
No.
It's on YouTube. Someone at Shueisha made it as like a announcement for the final chapter. So I don't remember. It's like this.
Is it a Rickroll, Jerry? Is it another Rickroll?
Chainsaw Man. It's really crazy. Go look it up.
Come on. He's the hero of hell, man.
I don't know.
Chainsaw Man.
And Mappa too? Ooh.
To me, Jujutsu Kaisen is it is really the third. It's the other. When I really look at the rest of this list, it is the other driving force of Shonen Jump. And that's what we need in Shonen Jump right now. For the next 3 or 4 years, we need 3 series in my mind. And I know I hate to put that number 3 out there all the time, but 3 has always kind of been Shonen's number, right? When Weekly Shonen Jump is doing well, they have about 3 shows that are usually doing quite well. And to me, those 3 shows are My Hero, Black Clover, Jujutsu Kaisen. But unfortunately, My Hero and Jujutsu Kaisen could probably end in less than 5 years. And I think that's where they're going to end up in a real tight situation. If both those series come to a conclusion in the next 5 years, we're going to be in a weird situation where for the first time ever, pretty much everything is less than 5 years old. Everything running in Shonen Jump. And that's where I think it's going to be really confusing. For now, I think that they're lucky. Jujutsu Kaisen was a massive hit. It's selling really well in America, selling really well in Japan. It's been a massive success. And Black Clover's been successful. It's been okay. But My Hero also massive success. So between My Hero and Jujutsu Kaisen, they've got 2 massive success, and they've got Black Clover just hanging out and doing its thing. So that's good for them. But once we get past all of that, everything else that we're going to talk about, we have one more that came out in 2019, but everything after that came out in 2020 or newer, so 2020 or 2021.
Just barely a year old.
And that's weird to think about because that means none of these other series are ready to get an anime anytime soon, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that came out in 2020 really has any potential to get an anime. It takes about 2 years of continuous publication before series start to even get optioned off as animes. And even then, it takes closer to 3 years before you might actually see an anime debut, which is why we're finally seeing a Chainsaw Man anime, hopefully by the end of the year, because it just about hit its 3-year mark right before it ended. And
which is somewhat concerning because, animes drive manga sales. And I think that, if not, maybe the next one we're going to talk about will have an anime soon,
Soonish. Yeah, maybe.
But after Chainsaw Man, they're going to have to be relying on My Hero Academia still selling, Black Clover still selling, and Dr. Stone still selling.
Weekly Shonen Jump has now become reliant on those first 5 or so shows we talked about because pretty much everything else isn't going to get an anime, at least not in 2021.
For another year or two.
I could see, like I said, Kenny, this next one maybe might get a show in 2022. I could see that.
Yeah.
Especially if it keeps going and then some of these next ones, like right after that, are definitely popular enough that we could see them either late 2022 or maybe early 2023. But I think some of these next ones when we get into the early 2020 series here, a lot of these actually have pretty good followings, but they definitely need an anime to amplify that following. Right, Kenny?
Yeah.
You know what I said? Pretty much, Kenny, I was saying the early 2020 shows, the early 2020 manga, and I think you'll agree with me, a lot of them need they're popular, but they need an anime to amplify that popularity right now. And there's a couple of them that are really important that are going to... Okay, so let's jump into the next one. So I don't know a lot about this one. Kenny, you might. David, I don't know if you've
read this one. Yeah. Well, I've read... Okay, first of all, I want to be clear. I've read just about every single...
I think Kenny's read all of them, so you're definitely going to help us with some gauging.
I'm not caught up on every single one of them, but I've read every single one of them.
I've tried to read about the first chapter of most of them, but some of them I haven't checked out yet. This one is one of those. So Mission Yozakura Family, Kenny is the name of the show.
I've read about 40 chapters of this. Mission Yozakura Family is good. I like it. It's interesting. I like the characters. I'm not fully caught up. Like I said, I think there's 70 chapters. I've only read like 40.
Oh my God. The author of this, David, is only 2 years older than us.
Lol.
Sorry.
Come on, y'all need to be manga authors.
Yeah, but I guess.
Mission but it's fun. It reminds me a little bit of Assassination Classroom because they're assassins, like that's their thing. The Yozakura family are a family of assassins, but it also kind of reminds me of Reborn as well.
Reborn. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, which is kind of like I don't know, it's interesting and it's fun, and I don't know, I really enjoy it. It gives me some, because it's a bit of a romance, a bit of an action, a bit of sort of, I don't know, assassin style. So
I don't know. I assume if the series is still going,
sounds interesting.
I think it'll get an anime, and it'll get a popularity bump somewhat from that anime.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, it's got to be getting close to an anime, at least getting greenlit, because it's pushing 70, 80 chapters at this point, something like that.
Yeah, I think 74 this week.
And I'm sure that on top of that, I'm not finding the numbers that quickly, but I was going to try to look them up. But if you guys didn't know, if you're a fan of Weekly Shonen Jump, every week the series are ordered in a way that represents how popular they were in a internal poll that week. So every time you buy a copy of Weekly Shonen Jump, when you're done reading it, there's a small piece of paper in the back. You can fill it out and mail it off, and essentially you rank which one was your top one that week. And then Weekly Shonen Jump puts them in order based off the popularity from the previous week. So people actually go and they catalog the popularity results of each week, because that actually helps. If a series pretty much is always in the bottom 10, it's probably going to get cut. Right? If you consecutively are in the bottom 10 for multiple weeks, you have a lower chance of making it in Weekly Shonen Jump. But then there's always, some shows bounce in and out of the top, some don't, so on and so forth, right? So I'm not sure. I can't seem to find a good idea of like where Mission Yozakura Family has done rankings wise, but if it's lasted this long and it's also the only series from 2019 that's persisted, it must have been doing well. Even if it was just middle ground, it's doing at least a little bit above mediocre, right? It's doing okay in these weekly polls. So that's important to remember when you think about what series have persisted. The thing is, once we get into the depth of this, right, all this new stuff hasn't had time to settle, like where it's going to be popular at. But this series has been around long enough to be able to say, okay, it's probably going to maintain. So my guess is it's probably, unless something drastic happens or the story really sucks or people just kind of fall out of it, most likely this series will persist for at least a little bit longer. Does this feel like a series that you think, Kenny, will could be a long-running series, or does this feel like something that has kind of a lower scope of a story or a narrative, so you think it could end sooner?
Probably a little shorter, but I still think it could go for a couple hundred. I think 200 or 300.
That's good. I mean, that's good because that show is definitely a sleeper. I'd say that I will definitely watch an anime of that when it comes out. I think the concept sounds cool. It's not something I'd go out of my way to read the manga of, but if they make an anime, I'll watch it for sure. So okay.
Yeah, it's fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it.
And yeah, the author's also a brand new author on that one. This is his first series. So that's exciting as well. It's always exciting. All the other stuff that we were talking about, every other series, I guess, except Gege Akutami.
What do you mean? The new stuff?
Wait, Yuki Tabata is also Black Clover was his first manga also, I think.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah. A couple of these ones that we're about to talk about, though, are returning authors. So.
Yeah, so what we're going to get into here is some of these new stuff is actually old authors. So we'll mention that. If we don't mention it...
Should we start? I mean, since most everything's 2020 now, 2020 or 2021, should we start with old authors or new authors?
I think we can just go in order from when they came out like we were doing.
Okay.
So
they're all so close together. That's fine.
Let's just start with our January ones and then June and then July. You can sort it if you're looking at it that way. Press that little arrow button, Kenny, and it'll sort it by premiere.
No, I'm not stupid.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, so let's talk about the next. Let's talk about these two together because I think these two are often they're being used as sort of an example of modern stuff that might have a chance, right?
Okay.
Mashle, Magic and Muscles, and Undead Unluck. Okay.
So I hate Mashle. Mashle is bad. One Punch Man. It's drawn bad.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I just don't like it. I read like 15 chapters of this fucking manga, and it's just bad One Punch Man. Okay, the concept of Mashle is that they're in a world of magic, but you know what's stronger than magic? Muscles. So
the main guy
is just a really buff dude. He's just buff, and he beats people up with his fists.
Punches them through walls, Jerry.
Yep.
I mean,
he's strong. I don't know what to say. It's obviously a comedy, but it's like, I don't know. It just feels like knockoff One Punch Man.
Right. Everything I've seen about it, everything I've read about it, it just seems funny and a little bit endearing, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not taking itself too seriously. So it's the art though. I can't get past the art. The art's kind of whack, but I've also read like about 15ish chapters of it. I didn't really get that far into it either.
Everything about the art gives me like drawn by an American vibes, which is not a good vibe to have when you're an official like mangaka in Japan.
It kind of reminds me of Mob Psycho.
Like something like that just hasn't really drawn very much would draw. I don't know.
Yeah. But
it seems funny. It seems quirky. It seems to be holding a pretty good audience from what I can tell, a lot of people have said it's kind of, it isn't also in that Gintama sket dance.
Yep.
The comedy manga. There's always at least one comedy manga going on in Shonen Jump that is holding it down. And people think Mashle's the it. I mean, they think it's funny. Someone is finding it really funny.
There's like a couple comedy.
Yeah, we'll get into a couple more comedy ones that are newer.
Yeah.
But obviously, this one is lasting at this point a long enough time for people to say, okay, I really like Mashle or I don't. Yeah. So I'm surprised it's lasted this long, but we shall see how long it goes. But people like magic also. That setting, magic school, is really overused recently. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe it won't last. I don't know. But then on the flip side, we have Undead Unluck.
So Undead Unluck I like Undead Unluck. It's interesting. I think I also read like the first 40 chapters of this. I need to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy it. The concept is interesting. The power of each character has like an power. And so like the main character is this girl and she has unluck. And so if you touch her, depending on the amount of time that you touch her, you have a very unlucky thing. So if you bump into her, you might lose your phone that day. But if you like hold her hand, it might be possible you get hit by a car. And so like there's like that varying degrees, and depending on how long you touch her, that changes the length of the luck, the unluck that you have. And so each character after that, each different sort of, because it's a bit of a battle manga. Each character after that has an unpower. And so the other main character is undead. He cannot die. So yeah, I like Undead Unluck. It's
cool concept. The character designs look really, at least a little bit unique, which I think helps with some Shonen Jump stuff, because sometimes you've got series that just kind of fade into the background because the art just doesn't stand out. But the art seems a little bit unique. It's kind of got its own kind of quirky style to it. It's also this author's first series. Obviously, having another good battle shonen is great, but from what I've heard, it just doesn't do anything to really like challenge the genre. You know, like it's fun, it's cool, but it hasn't done anything yet to make people go, okay, this is going to be a big mega hit. And you know, it's still young. It's only at like 40 something chapters, maybe like 50 chapters, something like that. So it still has space to grow, but it's definitely a battle shonen, and it's I'm excited. This is one that I'm excited for, actually. I'm excited to see where it goes or how it lands, you know?
It looks like the concept, like I said.
Yeah. Cool. All right, boys. More into some. Now we've got what I would. I guess this is when Shonen Jump realized that they were struggling, because they called in some of their old authors to come and help out. This is what I would call this little era here. Because we've got Ayakashi Triangle.
Yep.
And let's talk about both these. Hard-boiled Cop and Dolphin. Okay. And Ayakashi Triangle is written by Kentaro Yabuki. And if you don't know Yabuki, he's known for 2 series, Black Cat and To Love Ru. They're both very popular series. Also did the artwork for an anime series called Darling in the Franxx. He was involved with the creation of that very popular series. So this is a very popular artist, very popular author, being brought back in to do a new series, Ayakashi Triangle. Brief overview, Kenny?
I have not read. This is the only one that I have not read at all.
Oh.
Ayakashi Triangle. I need to. I just, I read a lot of manga.
This author is pretty well known for doing sort of like the comedy, kind of maybe a little more ecchi type of series. So I'm sure that it's probably in that genre. So a little bit of ecchi comedy with a little bit of action. That's probably where it's at, because that's kind of his style. Seems like it's about, let's see here, Matsuri Kazumaki and Suzu Kaneda are childhood friends who share the ability to see Ayakashi, which are spirits that are invisible to most people. So kind of a weird, at least like this whole visible demons. That's kind of been a popular
falls
trope.
On her boobies, I bet.
Probably. That's kind of been a popular trope in shonen manga recently. Like, just this.
We'll actually see a couple more.
Yeah. So I'm curious, how this one's going to do, what it's going to do to set itself apart. There's really about 30 chapters or less of this one out at this point. So, so Matsuri ends up being a descendant of exorcist ninjas who protect people from evil Ayakashi, while Suzu is an Ayakashi medium, a rare type of human who over secretes life force and thus attracts many Ayakashi. So they're like the perfect pair, right?
Yep.
Suzu's powers are growing. Lots of Ayakashi are coming. So he's going to protect her and kill all the Ayakashi. So, at its base layer, very simple concept.
But Jerry, you forgot the part where during a battle to save Suzu's life, Matsuri is turned into a girl after being cursed by Shirogane, the king of Ayakashi. So it's a boy dealing with being in a girl's body.
Another just classic shonen trope. There you go.
And whenever he gets poured hot water on him, he turns into a boy.
No.
Yep, it's from one
cold water
too.
So beside the point, so there's a lot of fun concepts at play here. To my knowledge, it has not done anything again to set itself apart yet. But Yabuki is kind of a tried and true artist and author. Black Cat especially is known as being a pretty good plot. To Love Ru being a very fun series. So To Love Ru is just loved for kind of its sexual humor and its comedy that goes with that. So if Yabuki brings it, and this series kind of balances the two, it's got a fun plot and some sexual humor, it'll probably stick around. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest.
Oh, this is set in the same universe
Black Cat
as
is
To Love Ru.
really good.
Black Cat's pretty good. It definitely, the anime version of it kind of got bastardized, but the manga is pretty good. The ending I was reading about, people, not too great, but beside the point, Ayakashi Triangle could be a good one. I don't think it's really like, it's not these. I hate to say it, but like this type of series just doesn't carry the manga. Like it doesn't carry Weekly Shonen Jump. It's like, it's nice to have some of these running in the background, but it's definitely not the type that is going to carry the magazine. I think it'd be interesting to see something like this shift, and maybe like, how back in the day, like Reborn had its crazy shift from comedy to battle shonen.
Yep.
I would love to see a series like this get sort of a revamp and become a battle shonen or something. You know what I mean? Like become a serious action or a serious drama. It'd be really cool if it started as like a sexual, oh, he's a boy, he's a girl, blah, blah, blah. And then it develops into something more serious. So maybe Yabuki can do that, or maybe that's something that'll be on the horizon. I don't know. So that's one. And then another returning author is Ryuhei Tamura, who is the author mainly known for his series Beelzebub, which was a pretty long-running comedy action shonen that ran in Weekly Shonen Jump from 2009 to 2014. It had a long-running anime as well. And he is back with a series titled Hard-Boiled Cop and Dolphin.
Yeah, so this one,
I know Kenny and David are both pretty big fans of this one.
Hard-boiled cop and
so
dolphin it's simple, bro. Okay, there's a hard-boiled cop from the city. He moves to a town on the coast. His partner's a dolphin. I don't know what else there is to.
There's no other explanation.
There's no other. His partner's a dolphin, and that's it. They fight crime. Okay.
If I'm looking here, is his name Orpheus F. Lipper? Is that his name? Is his name Orpheus F. Lipper?
Orpheus F. Lipper.
Jesus Christ.
Jerry, bro.
He has all the abilities of a dolphin, but enhanced to superhuman levels. That's his description.
All of the abilities of a dolphin, bro.
What I didn't know dolphin had abilities. No.
He's a dolphin, okay? It's funny. Hardboiled Cop and Dolphin is funny, and it's just fun to read every week. So
it's
so there you go,
the
guys.
first manga in a long time I read, and I just laugh out loud.
Yeah,
these are the types of shows that I think really are great to have running in Shonen Jump. Like when you've got a manga like this, just like that's laugh out loud, genuinely funny, and also I think Tamura's got a really great art style. Personally,
yes,
I loved his artwork in Beelzebub, so I really am excited to see where this goes as well. Obviously, this is not going to be, again, battle shonens bring people into the magazine, but good comedies keep them in the magazine, in my opinion. And this is the type of show that once you're in, you're going to find this and you're going to be like, oh yeah, I like that. I do hope this one gets an anime at some point, because I think it would be really cool.
Should. I mean, it's newer, but I think it's popular. I hope it is.
I hope it sticks around long enough to get an anime, because just the concept of a fucking dolphin cop just cracks me the fuck up.
I think it'll definitely get an anime for sure.
So
he's a dolphin, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Orpheus F. Lipper.
Okay, so let's talk about these next two, because I believe they're both comedies, if I'm correct. So the next two, they are. So we have two more.
Magu-chan and Miu and Roboco.
Yes. So Magu-chan, God of Destruction, and Miu Roboco, both brand new comedies by brand new authors.
Yep.
I think if anything were to get cut, these would be two series that might be getting cut in the near future.
I don't know. A lot of comedy mangas have gone in and out already, and these ones, I mean, are still fairly new, but they've maintained. I don't know. Because More King got canceled.
More King. Yep.
There was I actually thought Me and Roboco got canceled as well, but
not yet.
Yeah, I don't know. They're funny.
Yeah. This is the type of series that I could see getting canceled, though. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, yeah, it's about a kid and a robot maid. Isn't that what Me and Roboco's about? Yep.
And then Magu-chan, God of Destruction, is the little creature, the little cute creature that follows the high school girl is actually the God of Destruction, and he wants to end the world. So.
Oh, okay, yeah, great concepts. So yeah, they're both comedy mangas. Comedy mangas are hard to gauge. You never know. I feel like if people, if you look at all the comedy mangas that came out, like when Gintama did, I don't know if anyone would have been like, the one about the samurais that are in the future, that's the one that's going to stick around. It's hard to gauge like which ones are going to stay. I feel like, unfortunately, Hard-Boiled Cop and Dolphin is just better. It's just funnier. and I think it's probably got a better shot, especially just because he's a trained mangaka who's done this before, compared to these two, which are newer mangaka. I think it's gonna be hard to see which of these might stick around, but generally there's a couple that do stick. And if I were to guess, I think Magu-chan has a higher chance of sticking around than me and Roboco, but that's my guess. What do you guys think?
I mean, based off the Wikipedia pages alone, what was the other one I just closed out of it? The Me and Roboco has like no information at all, but Magu-chan at least has an image of their first manga volume that dropped. So I mean,
dang.
Based off the love from the wiki page, I would put money that Me and Roboco might be getting canceled soon too.
Yeah. I think Roboco will be out. I'm not saying it's going to happen super soon, but I could see it next year or two. Not, it won't persist, I don't think. And if I were to guess one that might stick around, it'd be Magu-chan. But even then, I think Hard-Boiled Cop and Ayakashi Triangle, which these four all started at the exact same time. I think Ayakashi and Hard-Boiled Cop, because of their connection to the magazine and the author's kind of credentials, I think those two series will have a better chance of persisting. Although I'm rooting for maybe one of those others to stick around as well. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next set of series, well, really the next one, which was August of 2020, is Phantom Seer. And
so Phantom Seer is, I would say, similar to Jujutsu Kaisen.
Right. I've heard.
It's just a sort of, he's a spiritual detective. I don't actually know what they call him.
A shaman? The wiki calls him a shaman.
Shaman, yeah. So and he fights demons and shit. So
right.
That's sort of the thing. It's I would say it's in that same sort of genre where they fight demons and shit like that. I do like this one though.
It looks like the artwork is really pretty.
Yeah, the art is good. The spreads are good. The way he uses darkness is really cool, especially in a demon type.
His
manga.
monster designs look really good. I mean, does the main character sounds like a bit of a slacker?
That's the joke.
So is that's I mean, and maybe that kind of works for this series because you don't always get that. But unfortunately, it sounds like literally, it doesn't sound like, at least yet, and maybe it will get there because this is super new, right? There's only like
super new. Yeah, we're a year in ish.
Yeah, so not even 20, 30, 40 chapters, something like that.
28 chapters.
Wow. Okay, so not even 30 chapters yet. This series probably needs a little more room to grow before they cancel it because it seems like it's got an okay following, and I think that it could shape up. But it does seem like it's borrowing a lot of concepts from good shonen mangas, right? Which is not always. I actually think you can borrow good concepts and make it good. You know what I mean? Like, for fuck's sake, like this could be great. This could end up being an amazing series in the next 80 chapters.
But yeah, we've just seen so little, and from here on, we've seen so little of these mangas that
Yeah, the rest are really hard, but there's some I have some opinions on.
Yeah.
Okay, so Phantom Seer, it's cool. It's a cool setting. Yep. It debuted solo. It only debuted against Burn the Witch, is what the only other one running, kind of. But
still, I mean, but what has gotten canceled in between?
Whatever else debuted with it got canceled. You know what I mean? So somehow it's held on a little bit. It's definitely getting a bit of an audience, and like we said, this supernatural anime setting is really popular right now. More people want more series in that setting. So here we are. I think it could. If any battle shonen has potential, I think this could be one of them. That's my guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
so this next one.
What's next, Ken?
This next one is so stupid and it's drawn so bad.
Oh my god, I've read a little bit of this, Kenny.
So this is high school family Kokosei Kazoku.
Yes.
Which the plot is that the main character
look up the pictures of it. If you're listening, also David, but look up the way this is drawn, dude.
The main character
like
is a high school boy.
Stuff.
I read about this.
Yeah, he's starting high school, but actually,
bro, isn't his cat going to school too?
Yeah, wait, Jerry. His dad wants to go to high school. His mom wants to go to high school. His little sister wants to go to high school, and his dog wants to go to high school. So they all that's the joke. The joke is that they all go to high school together.
Everybody's in high school together.
Everybody wears
Yo, this shit looks funny as fuck, dude.
Wait,
this is like
this is the type
silly.
Of
this looks like perfect
silly.
hair. This looks like perfect hair forever, dude.
It is, it is just the amount of like confusing, and everybody just sort of accepts that they're all going to high school together. So
Oh, that's so wonderful.
What in the latest chapter, the member of the baseball team falls in love with his mom, so he asks if he can ask his mom out.
Bro, oh, he's the one who wrote oh wow, okay, this is a returning author also.
Okay.
I think he wrote the he also had a Shonen Jump manga that was drawn really similarly. It's called oh my god, I'm forgetting the title of it. Let me look it up.
Wait, I think I want to start reading this actually.
It's called Isobe Monogatari is the name of his other manga. It was also a long run, well not long running. It lasted for a pretty good time in Shonen Jump. And it had that same kind of like goofy style. Yeah, okay, 300 it had 300 chapters that ran in Shonen Jump.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
This
it was
manga is ridiculous, okay?
I didn't realize this was a returning author though, but because of that, I think there's a higher chance he can hold on.
Yeah.
It sounds funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Clearly there's an audience for his style because his last manga lasted so long. He's got a great sense of humor is what it sounds like. And I think that if he can keep it up and stay consistent, this could be really funny. The concept, like I just can't, what other mangas, like what a great idea. Everyone's going to school together. What a great and funny idea, dude. Like it just feels so original and so creative. And those are the type of comedy mangas that will surprise you. Because Isobe, I remember always wondering, like, why is that manga still running? But it ran in Weekly Shonen Jump for forever. And I was just like, is anyone reading that? But I guess it has that potential. So I would be on the lookout for Kokosei Kazoku. Because, like, High School Family, I think that shit's going to be funny as fuck. So.
Yeah, it's funny, so.
Okay, the next series we've all read at least the first chapter, I think.
Yeah. And we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
Build King. We talked about it briefly on the I have not kept up with it. I think I only read the first chapter. But Same. What do you guys think? Has anyone else caught up? Kenny, have you stayed with it or?
No, I read I think 8 chapters. Build King is just, it feels like it's trapped in the past. It's like it's like an old school shonen. Whenever old school shonen are not not good anymore. It's not that they're not good. It's just that the genre has moved on, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so I don't know,
this is by. So for those that don't know, this is by Mitsutoshi Shimabukuro.
Yep.
And he is very well known for a very long-running Weekly Shonen Jump series called Toriko, which also did the same thing. It kind of took the style of the 80s, this kind of big, buff, gnarly guys and big fights, and kind of tried to modernize it a little bit by adding in this food component, this adventure component. And because that, Toriko was a massive smash hit. It was for its time, Toriko had a team-up special with Luffy and Goku. Toriko was a massive, massive part of the Weekly Shonen Jump magazine. And oddly enough, when it ended, it just faded away. It just disappeared. It has not maintained itself since then. It's not a show that comes up as when people talk about their favorite animes or manga. It was just, it had that style of it was good when you were reading at the time, but once it was over, it just, people move on. And I hate to say it, but Build King feels like the less creative, unfunny little brother of Toriko. It just doesn't, it's almost like this dude lost his spark, dude. This feels super canny and just corny. Yeah. Again, I only read the first chapter, so I don't know if it's getting a little better or not, but
it's just Toriko was interesting in its design. People are all everything's food, I guess.
Yes.
And Build King has that where everything is buildable. But it feels like an old manga. And for a new manga to feel like an old manga, it doesn't feel good, I guess.
Yeah.
As somebody who just reads manga on feelings, I guess. It just
that's okay. That's okay.
It just is it feels old, and that makes it less interesting, somewhat. And the jokes are not funny. It's not shonen funny anymore, maybe it was funny whenever, because shonen feels as a genre, it's for 12 or 13-year-olds, but it's grown somewhat to be for I don't know, 16 to 8-year-olds, it feels like.
Right. Shonen as a genre has become almost I'd say it's more mass appeal. I feel like shonen, when you're writing a Shonen Jump story, you're really trying to write something that's for everyone, if that makes any sense. It's no longer just for young kids, young boys especially. It seems like it's for girls, It's for boys. It's for adults. Shonen has become a bigger, broader genre for sure, Ken.
Yeah, and
Build King doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, it just feels like old shonen.
Yeah. To me, it didn't seem memorable. It just seemed like nothing about it stood out. Nothing about it was really unique. The art didn't really seem that great either to me. It just overall just didn't really like. I don't think this is gonna last for that long.
The art looks worse than Toriko, in my opinion. Like somehow he became a worse artist between Toriko and this. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know if he tried to go for maybe a simpler style to maybe he was trying to make it easier for him to draw because he's getting old and he's just like not trying to work as hard. Because he's in his 40s now, mid 40s. But I just feel like maybe he was trying to do something like that. I don't know. I think this series is gonna get canceled. I don't think it's gonna last.
I think it's gonna end up running longer than I want it to.
Probably. I'd say that because it's Shimabukuro, they're gonna let it run for a little bit. But I do think that most likely it'll get the Shueisha will be like, all right, Shimabukuro, wrap it up, buddy. I can't see it making it to 100 chapters. That's my guess for Build King.
But who knows? What if it's popular in Japan? I don't know.
Ooh, I hope not. But maybe. I mean, he's a popular mangaka, so there might be enough people that are supporting him just because it's him,
Right.
But I don't know. I also think he's got some bad. People don't think very highly of him because he also did some shitty stuff before he wrote manga. Well, kind of. He's just kind of a shitty human being, is what I've heard. But he is like best friends with Ichiro Oda. Him and Oda are like very good friends, which is weird. Okay, so Build King, I think we all are on the same boat with that. It's not going anywhere.
It's not going to be carrying Shonen.
No.
The Shueisha. It might have something in a few chapters that it all of a sudden gets really good, like some kind of arc or something that redeems it. But as it is right now, it's not. It's not going to be supporting Shueisha. It's by itself.
I agree. So then we've got Sakamoto Days.
And I think we've all
read a little bit of this though. David, what do you think? What's up with Sakamoto Days, bro?
So Sakamoto Days is I'm liking it a lot. I'm not caught up, but I've read enough chapters to get the gist of it. So it's basically, for those of you who don't know, Sakamoto Days is about this hitman. He was like the best assassin the world's ever seen, and then he fell in love, and he put that life away, and he's just he has his own little convenience store. He sweeps, he cleans, he's just living life. And then this assassin, the assassin's trying to come kill him, and then he fails, and then he wants to, this assassin that tries to kill the main guy, he wants to, learn his ways, and so he kind of becomes an apprentice to this guy, and then that's kind of the basic premise. So then you're just kind of following along this, the main guy and his new apprentice, and it's really funny. It's I think I've read like the first 5-6 chapters, so not too far. But from what I've seen so far, it's really funny. The art's pretty silly, but I think its biggest selling point is its writing, is its comedy.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, the art is a little silly, but whenever it matters, the art looks really good. Like his spreads are pretty nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think it will last for a while. I think this will.
Yeah, Sakamoto Days. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a good concept. It's got a good idea. It definitely got a hook to it. The characters are fun. I feel like that's all very viable there. Cool. So Sakamoto Days. So wait,
it's brand new. We got to remember, all of these are like fucking brand new. So
not a whole lot to go off of.
We're in the less than 20 chapters territory now, guys. These are less. So before we get into the last 4, everything we just went over, the last couple,
which are less than 10 now.
Just to put in perspective, they're the ones we just went over, which was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 series that we just went over. All 10 of those debuted in 2020. These all debuted in 2020. If we had a guess, here's my guess. Here's my guess for the 2020. I think that the ones that you should be on the lookout for, if you're listening to this, I think that the main ones you want to keep your eyes on are Undead Unluck, Hard-Boiled Cop and Dolphin, Phantom Seer, and Sakamoto Days. I feel like those are the 4. Just as someone who's been with Shonen Jump as long as I have, I feel like those are the 4 that have the potential to keep going or that might last. While the rest of them could be cut or moved around very soon. That's my guess for 2020 shows or 2020 series. But as we see from the years past, almost every year before that only has 1 series still running. So I don't know if all 4 of those will last or not. They kind of have to. Like, yeah, this manga needs at least 10. Weekly Shonen Jump needs at least 10 or so series that are older than a year. Like, it needs them. So my guess is a lot of those 2020 shows, I think Shueisha is going to put a lot of power into them. You know what, like marketing power. And if I were to pick ones, I'd think Undead Unluck and Phantom Seer are the 2 that they're targeting as potential battle shonens that could carry the next layer. That's my guess. And that's why I think that, because the rest of those 10 are all comedy pretty much. With a little ecchi. Yeah. Ayakashi Triangle's ecchi, but ecchi doesn't carry Weekly Shonen Jump. You know what I mean? So, okay. Let's get into the last 4.
Okay. ITLC, I really like ITLC.
Do you? Okay, so I was just reading about it, and it seems good. It seems interesting.
It's an interesting
it's very interesting.
It's a I wouldn't say Death Note style, because Death Note's a little more, I don't know, serious, but it's definitely a mystery style manga. And
sort of like Promised Neverland?
This is like, I mean, they're cops, so it's like I would almost say like American style mystery. Like, you know, so far it's just been week to week. We're sort of hunting a new perpetrator, and she has an interesting way of solving. So just a quick overview is she solves crimes by falling in love with the perpetrator and then sort of retracing their steps through that, because she loves them so much that she understands their thought process.
Oh wow, okay.
So ITLC, I'm enjoying it so far. It has 9 chapters or something like that. So you know,
so the one thing that I just learned is that this author this is his second try. So he had a series, Kenny, maybe you remember it. He had a series that ran for only 30 chapters, called Invade You.
Yeah.
And it ran back in 2018, but it got canceled really fast.
I've heard of it.
So this is now their second attempt to get into Shonen Jump, and they're in it again. So I think that a lot of times when you see someone, like, look at Horikoshi, right? He had like 2 series canceled before he finally got to My Hero, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe I feel like there's just a lot of drive when you have someone come back after their first series got canceled super fast. So ITLC, it seems to have a good premise, good concept. I don't know. I mean, there might be something here.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you think it's got sort of that, like, more of that shonen action side, or you guys think it? Because I assume it doesn't have much comedy so far.
No, not much comedy.
It's pretty serious, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a mystery thriller almost.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. Because, really only Death Note and Promised Neverland that I know of have really explored that concept in Shonen Jump.
Yeah, and honestly, from the list of manga that are in Shonen Jump, I think this is the only one that kind of fits that mold of that.
Yeah.
Of that, really leaning into the mystery side.
Yeah.
Of the genre.
I would agree.
All right, rock and roll. So maybe there's something there. Again, really, these ones came out in January this year, so it's like really early. These less than 10 chapters.
Right.
So it's hard to really get any gauge. I mean, if this were adapted into an anime, this would probably be like the first 3 or 4 episodes or whatever, right? So there's a lot more story to come for ITLC, but definitely keep your eyes there. And then we have another returning mangaka in the Elusive Samurai, which is Yusei Matsui's new series. And if you don't know Yusei, you probably have at least heard of his last series. It was a big hit, Assassination Classroom.
Yep.
So Yusei Matsui's last hit, Assassination Classroom. So he's back, but this time telling the story of a samurai. And it looks pretty interesting so far. I don't know.
It's like semi-historical. And so I really enjoyed Assassination Classroom. I would say it might be one of my favorite anime of all time.
It's awesome. Yeah. Assassination Classroom is awesome.
And it got fully
I haven't. It's on my list, but
Okay, yeah.
It's one of the ones that it felt like it came to a natural conclusion. It got fully adapted into an anime, and I really enjoyed it. And this obviously is shades of Assassination Classroom. It's historical, so it's about I don't ever remember this guy's name. It's about a Japanese general who he was known for running away.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so continuing to serve.
It's pretty much a slightly fictionalized version of an actual historical figure.
Correct.
Yeah, that's cool. So if you definitely like that, this could be a good one for people who are listening to go check out. Because it's sort of like Kingdom. Kingdom is a super popular and maybe this is Weekly Shonen Jump trying to respond to Kingdom's popularity. I didn't even think about that, because I don't think Shonen Jump has had like a historical action drama maybe ever. I can't think of any off the top of my head, at least.
I'm looking up Kingdom.
Oh, Kingdom's like a massive...
oh my god.
Kingdom is like a massively popular historical drama manga that's been running for a long time. Very, very popular. The anime adaptations have always been kind of lukewarm, so that's why it never really has taken off. But for those that are fans of the manga is a very nice, very awesome telling of a lot of Japanese history told through a very cool fictionalized lens. It's very cool. But yeah, this Elusive Samurai actually looks like it could fill a gap that Weekly Shonen Jump has just never done. And when you pull in a master, Neuro and Assassination Classroom, when you pull in someone like Yusei Matsui, I just feel like there's some, I don't know. It's weird that the 2021 shows are getting me so excited or mangas are getting me so excited compared to the 2021s. But I tell seeing the Elusive Samurai, I'm kind of excited for both. I think both of them have potential to be long running and a fun series. And then there's the newest ones. So, do you guys have any other thoughts on those two?
No, I enjoy both of those so far, but we're less than 10 chapters in.
Yeah, we're just so early in that it's really hard to do much with it. So then we have our last two. And Kitty, you're going to talk about the last one as much as you want, because I know you're excited about it.
Yeah, this one, yeah.
So first off, there's Witch Watch. So we'll talk about Witch Watch. And Witch Watch is by Kenta Shinohara. Kenta has written, I think, at least Sket Dance. I can't think if he had any other series.
What was it? Astra Lost in Space.
Astra Lost in Space, right. So Sket Dance and Astra Lost in Space. So Kenta is a pretty well-known manga author from those two series. Those are both, Sket Dance is more of a comedy school setting. And then Astra Lost in Space is actually more of like a mystery thriller. But both very good series. Both have good adaptations, good, pretty fun storytelling aspects. Both are really good. So they brought in Kenta to do Witch Watch, which Witch Watch, I believe, is more of it's also kind of a mystery type series, right?
No, it's a comedy, kind of a mystery. So like the main character is an ogre, and he is set to watch after his childhood friend who's a witch, because something bad is destined to happen to her, foretold to. Right. And so far it's just been sort of comedic hijinks with her misusing her powers and him getting upset. Because he's he's the straight man in that situation where it's like, he's like, stop doing that. We know that something bad's going to happen. Please stop, And she's like, but I just want to have fun and enjoy my time at school. And so it's just about, and so far that's all that's happened, but this literally, what are we on, chapter 6 or something? More things have started to happen now. So, there's definitely more to come. I can tell you that much, but
it seems like Kenta Shinohara likes to do that. He likes to set up characters, set up a fun world. He's really funny, but then he likes to introduce more complex themes as he goes along.
Yeah.
So I think that if this series has, again, another one that I think I'd keep an eye on. Like, I think this series could have potential. It seems like these 2021 series really feel like they have the potential to move forward, but not a lot to go off of. But Witch is also, seems like magic is a popular setting nowadays as well. Yep. With obviously Fairy Tail kind of set the standard of like magic manga, and then you've got Magi, you've got Black Clover. Magical people is like a fun. Magical girls have always been a thing in anime.
Burn the Witch.
Show. So
magic, yeah.
Oh yeah, Burn the Witch, yeah. So there's a lot of magic. So that's cool to see another magic series about magic. But it looks funny and it looks cute. It looks quirky. The art looks really great. And Kenta is definitely a professional. So I think that it's definitely just another one it's just too early. But
Yeah, I agree.
If it becomes the big thing here is that like we're still the magazine is still a little short on action shonen.
Yeah.
And that's why I definitely see a lot of these comedies clearing out in the next year or two and then bringing in more action battle manga because we're just short on. I mean, where the fuck is the battle mangas? Like,
especially Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero end sometime in the next year or two.
If Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero end, there's literally
Black Clover,
One Piece, and Undead Unluck
and Phantom Seer.
I mean, Elusive Samurai is now kind of a battle shonen, it looks like, but it's a historical battle shonen.
It's Assassination Classroom style. So it's like,
But Witch Watch and ITEL C and Sakamoto, I mean, these are all more of like, so we need, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like some of these comedies will clear out. I feel like things like Roboco and Build King and maybe even some of the ecchi stuff like Ayakashi Triangle might clear out to let another. I feel like we need another because Samurai 8 was running in Weekly Shonen Jump and it's already out
recently. Yeah.
Kishimoto already got it canceled. So I feel like there are other mangaka, old school mangaka, that need to come back to the manga and bring us another. I mean, the author of Reborn could come back and do another series. They're doing actually. Oh shit. Okay, that's the last thing.
I thought Eldo just finished.
No, they actually already have another manga coming out, but it's not in Weekly Shonen Jump. That's the issue. Is all these masters of battle shonen like Yusuke Murata and the Reborn author, they're all now publishing in Shueisha's other areas, and that's what makes me so worried because like Weekly Shonen Jump is supposed to be the battle manga place, but now you've got Jump Plus where Kaiju and Spy Family are both at, and those are awesome battle shonens. Yeah. And you've got
I don't
that's
know.
Also
It's a battle shonen.
I'd say it's like a
it's like a slice of life.
Slice of life with like action every chapter. I'd say every chapter has like at least action in it.
I don't know about that.
Pretty damn near. I mean, just because like every chapter seems to have like a cutaway where like what's her name, the mom ends up fucking killing people on the side, or like Twilight has to have some sort of small, you know what I mean? Like
but like Family, the main point of the manga is her like the little girl going to school. So.
I'd say it's an action slice of life comedy. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. But okay, Kenny, last series that in running Weekly Shonen Jump, I don't think David and I have read this at all.
This one is brand new. So first of all, sports mangas are, I feel like, a mainstay of the shonen genre, and Shonen Jump has gone so long. The most popular sport in Japan is baseball, right? Baseball is the most popular sport. And it's gone so long since having a baseball manga. Whenever baseball mangas are big right now, right? Major second is still running. Major ran for forever. Diamond No Ace, or Ace of the Diamond, has run forever. And, other soccer mangas are very big right now as well.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Giant Killing, obviously Blue Lock for soccer, and
I would say that their biggest one was Mr. Full Swing.
Yeah, and that wasn't even that was like 2006.
Yeah, 01 to 06. That's when they did.
Yeah,
that was baseball.
It's been a long time since a baseball manga has been in Shonen Jump, and so we have 6 chapters out. Obviously, not a lot to go on, but I really like the concept, the idea. So
tell me, Kenny, what makes, because every sports manga has like a thing, right? Like Haikyuu, like he's too little, like Kuroko, people don't pay attention to him on the court, like, you know what I mean? There's always like a thing that goes with it.
Sure.
And what about the one where he played golf? He's like a robot or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So 9 Dragons Ball. 9 Dragons Ball Parade. I don't like the name of that. I bet it sounds better in Japanese.
I'm certain it sounds better because that's a stupid name.
The concept is that the main character he studies. Okay, his whole thing is that if I can put these things out in front of me and accomplish each of these goals, I can accomplish my dreams, which was to get into this school. But then they go, well, man, we have a whole team of people that do all the studying, who choose all the, because he's a catcher, who choose all the pitches, who tell you what to do. We don't need that. We just need raw talent, and you're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so he doesn't make it into this prestigious sort of program that he planned on making it into, even though he checked all the boxes. He was fast enough for the physical portions, and then won sort of the mock game. And so then this sort of unknown pitcher from the boonies shows up, and he can throw the ball faster than anybody else, harder than anybody else. And he's like, no, I want to be on your team. So let's go find some other team. And so that's sort of the concept. And then we're 6 chapters in. So now they started trying to build a team at another school. And so I don't know. The fact that a baseball manga is not run in Shonen Jump in so long, and with the popularity of baseball,
it's just like super popular in Japan too.
And we're totally bare on sports mangas in Shonen Jump.
Yeah.
And so
this is the only one. It's the only one right now.
I am hopeful that this is gaining traction and people are enjoying it, but I never know. Especially
I'm over here reading this and I'm obsessed. I can't
stop
reading this.
I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it, and it's taking its time. It's going slow.
It looks like this author or the artist. The artist seems to have a history with writing sports mangas.
Really,
looks like he had a story called Makoto no Oja that ran in Weekly Shonen Sunday, it ran in Gessan, which is one that's not very popular at all. But it ran for 56 chapters, which is a pretty good run back in 2009 to 2011. And then he had another baseball manga called Ano Natsu 1959, which ran for 26 chapters in Shonen Sunday. So the author clearly has a history with sports manga, but it seems like a lot of them, or these both seem to have gotten canceled, is what I'm getting from this.
I'm hoping that this one has a little bit of longevity. Obviously, we're 6 chapters in.
Right.
Every sports manga has it has a defined ending. We get to Koshin and we win. In baseball, that's what it is. We get to the tournament and we win the tournament, or we lose it, and that's okay.
Do you guys think that we could see another? I think some of this comedy is going to clear out of Shonen Jump. Do you guys think we could see another sports manga get introduced to the manga next year?
Possibly. I don't know.
I mean, we just don't have. It's weird because like Hinamaru Zumo was in it, and Haikyuu, and Kuroko's, and there's always been at least
Robot Laser Beam,
Full
Drive, the ping pong
Full Drive. There, we've always had one, so it's weird that it went almost a year without one, and now we've only got one. And it's baseball, and this baseball one seems like it could be really cool. I mean, it looks like it's going to be great.
Like I said, I've enjoyed every chapter. Whenever I read Shonen Jump, I put up all my tabs, and I've been putting Nine Dragons Ball Parade last. No, I've been putting it last. So that it's my favorite one.
Oh,
I put it after My Hero.
Oh my god!
So
it's where you get in. That's great. It looks so good. The art looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I think that's another. Shonen, but yeah, so it's weird that we're in this era. So there we go. That is every Weekly Shonen Jump manga, and it feels like there's a lot of room for things to move on. There's some worry that some more old guard is gonna leave us. If One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, and My Hero all end in the next 5 years, I don't know what's gonna go on with this manga because right now I just don't think the lineup is that strong. I mean, I hate to say it, but going through all this, they've got a couple new stuff that's looking a little interesting, but for the most part, Weekly Shonen Jump is in a place where it is certainly not what it was before. But here's why, and here's the last thing we have to talk about. Shueisha, I think, might be moving on from their print publication. I'm going to say it right now. I think that this magazine is finally getting to the point where Shueisha realizes that it's the methodology, the way it's delivered, is out of date. And I think the reason and the way we're going to see this start to come to play is Shonen Jump Plus. Yeah. I mean, Shonen Jump Plus is potentially the future of Weekly Shonen manga because Shonen Jump Plus, I can't find a great list of what all has run in it.
Chainsaw Man's coming.
Chainsaw Man Part 2.
Chainsaw Man has been moved over to it. Obviously, Kaiju number 8, which is a massively fun manga. If you guys have not read it, it's brilliant.
So good. It's so good.
So anyone who's into shonen should go read Kaiju. Spy Family, which is a huge, amazing series. Additionally, Astro Lost in Space that we talked about, that ran in Shonen Jump Plus. Kenny, you have a series that you liked called Jigoku Raku, I think.
Bro, that one's getting an anime soon.
Boom.
It's a battle manga. So
Shonen Jump Plus. That's Shonen Jump Plus. Shueisha has started to move more of the series that they want to give more creative control and freedom to over to Shonen Jump Plus instead of their standard magazine. And those series are doing incredibly well. Spy Family and Kaiju are massively successful for online publications. And if those two were running in Weekly Shonen Jump, this conversation would be way different. You know what I mean? If Spy Family and Kaiju were in their weekly magazine, I feel like we'd be having a way different conversation because those would be obvious standouts, right?
Yeah.
And they're not. They're in the digital one, so it just feels like. And then you've got stuff like One Punch Man, right? One Punch Man never got moved over to Weekly Shonen Jump. It's always been in either their monthly or their bi-weekly. They just let it be where it gets to be, right? So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like, is that maybe what's happening here? Is Weekly Shonen Jump finally, maybe they're letting the magazine die?
I'm trying to find a list of all the Jump Plus manga.
It's really hard to find like an actual list. But they've been running Shonen Jump Plus for they've been running it for a couple of years now. I want to say maybe it started in like 2015, maybe.
But is World Trigger on Jump Plus?
No, I think World Trigger's in the monthly now. I could be wrong, but what's the monthly Shonen Jump called? There's a monthly one. So if you guys didn't know, Weekly Shonen also runs a lot of other things. And one is that they publish a monthly magazine as well that has slightly different stuff. They also have a seinen magazine. Some standouts from the monthly one. Claymore ran in the monthly Shonen Jump. Yep. Tagami Bachi ran in the monthly Shonen Jump. But that has a new name now, the monthly one. I'm just forgetting what it's called.
I think the one manga that I really like is in Jump Plus.
Oh, for real? What is it?
Fuck, I can't remember what it's called.
Okay, here we go. So their new the monthly publication right now is called Jump Squared. Sorry. And Jump Squared has World Trigger, Kimono Jihin, Blue Exorcist, Moriarty the Patriot. Those are all running in Jump Squared. Seraph of the End. Those are all in Jump Squared, and those are all pretty popular series as well. I think D. Grayman also occasionally shows up in Jump Squared because it's in Jump Squared Rise, which is a whole different. So there's a lot of spin-offs of Weekly Shonen Jump where you start to realize all these other manga, but Jump Plus is their digital production where they only publish it digitally.
And you gotta remember, those of us here in America, the only way we've ever gotten manga from Shonen Jump on the weekly way has been online.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, but back in the day, they used to actually publish them in America in those books,
Yeah, but that hasn't been around for a long time.
Okay, here we go. I found the wiki for it. Shonen Jump Plus. It launched on September 22nd, 2014. So it's been around for a pretty good minute now. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think people were really taking it seriously until maybe the last year or two. But Shonen Jump Plus is where series like, oh my God, there's so many manga that ran in there. Astra Lost in Space, obviously, was one we've talked about. ELD Live by the author of Reborn. That series ran in Jump Plus. Fire Punch by the author of Chainsaw Man. That ran in Jump Plus. Hell's Paradise, Jigoku Raku. That ran in Jump Plus.
Which just ended. I did not know that. It's
over, yeah. Now, yeah, it's over.
It ended in January, so.
But yeah, there's lots of weird series that are running over there. There's lots of
Ghost Reaper Girl. That's what.
Oh, Ghost Reaper Girl. Yes, I've heard that's really fun.
Yeah, that's in Jump Plus.
Do you like that one, David?
It's really good. I've been reading it every week. It's by the same person that made Rosario X Vampire.
Oh, okay. So another which was very manga
popular.
A manga artist that would totally really be normally in regular Weekly Shonen Jump has now moved over to Jump Plus.
So everyone's just moving over to Jump Plus, it seems.
I mean, definitely, it supposedly provides a lot more freedom for the manga artists. They can kind of publish on their own schedules. They don't all have to come out at the same time. They have again, it's just there's just a certain level of creative freedom that's coming with that. And a lot of mangaka want that. And we as readers, again, like Kenny said, we're used to it. We're cool with online publication.
We could care less when it comes out, as long as it's like fairly consistent.
Right.
And by publishing online, they can extend chapters or, like they could make 30-page chapters, or they can make shorter chapters that are just sort of hammered out,
Yep.
If they give us a 6-page chapter every 4 days or something, like why would we care?
Yep. So yeah, it just makes for so much more. So maybe this is the future of Weekly Shonen Jump. Maybe there'll be a time where it sounds weird because like One Piece needs to end before they get rid of it, but maybe the traditional magazine will go away in the next couple of years. maybe we won't be seeing that anymore. Maybe it'll all be Jump Plus. Maybe Jump Plus will become the new home of show, because they already have so many great popular mangas running in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not opposed to it, obviously, as a US fan, but I wonder how the Japanese audience would feel if they were to lose Weekly Shonen Jump, because Shonen Sunday and the two we talked about at the beginning, Shonen Sunday and Weekly Shonen Magazine, they probably are questioning it as well. I'm sure they're thinking about it, because I don't know if they have digital versions or if they've even but Shueisha seems to be ahead of the curve is what I'm getting at. They're just ahead of the curve with all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kenny, the author of Reborn. Oh, go David.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I think that honestly doing away with the print media and going like full into the web with Jump Plus, I think would make more sense. I mean, I guess there was like the collector's like nostalgic part of keeping the physical, like having the physical release weekly of Shonen. That would go away. That would suck. But I mean, looking at what's in Jump Plus versus what's in the Shonen Weekly, I mean, take away the big three and One Piece, and there's not really like a lot of heavy hitters compared to what's in Jump Plus. So just combining them both would probably make more sense.
At the end of the day, Shueisha has control over both these, so they do have them all. You know what I mean? Like Shueisha's winning, whether Jump Plus is succeeding or whether the weekly magazine is succeeding. Shueisha's the winner in the end because they're having hits out of both. So it surprises me how many people are talking about. Oh, and by the way, Kenny, there's a new anime or manga by the author of Reborn. It's called Ron Kamonohashi Deranged Detective, and it's currently running in Jump Plus. So that's one to definitely check out. I've been wanting to read it. But I don't think it's on Viz's website yet, so I don't think that there's an American adaptation of it yet. So, unfortunately.
Keep dragging their feet, okay?
Yeah, and then they're also, Kenny, there's a baseball manga that runs in Jump Plus that it got a net animation done by Mappa. Have you heard of this?
What's it called?
Bokyaku Battery. It looks good, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anywhere to read this, but man, it looks good.
I think I've seen it. I think I read this.
Ooh.
You think you've read it?
Yeah, let me see.
Bro, it looks cool.
Listen, I like sports.
Did I see anime adaptation?
And Mappa already did like an original net animation of it. So yeah, there's all sorts of cool stuff that's happening. So what is happening? I think the big thing to take away from this episode as a listener is just to know that like the mediums at which we continue to I'm hungry, I guess, get manga delivered to us is changing. It's changing constantly. And we have to be prepared for like, maybe things are going to be different as they move forward. And what is that going to look like? And how do we continue to support the mangaka and the people that we really love and the stories that we really love? Because there's going to be more stories, right? Whether it's from Shonen Magazine or from Shonen Sunday or from Shonen Jump, right? Or if it's from Shonen Jump Plus, there's going to be more manga for us to eat and for us to enjoy and more anime that's going to be adapted from it. And that's what this is all about. And that's why we have to keep checking. That's why we talk so much about Shonen Jump because, ever since the 80s, since Dragon Ball aired, Weekly Shonen Jump has always been the masterclass. You want to get into Weekly Shonen Jump. That's where you want your manga to run. And you want your manga to run for 100, 200, 300 chapters, right? You want to run for as long as you can. But the culture around it has finally started to shift to where mangaka are getting more power over their endings. Mangaka are getting more power over their stories. They're getting more creative freedom. And we're getting better manga because of it, in my opinion. We're getting manga that are more creative, more fun, more just have more opportunity to them. And I think that's the exciting part of the future of Shonen Jump is knowing that like with this formula going away, Shueisha's on it and they're ready to adjust. So I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. I think boys, we've had a big discussion about this. So
yep.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just always excited.
Some of the new Shonen Jump mangas I'm really excited about. And I think that, going forward, I'm excited about what is new to come, especially where it feels like a lot of what we know is ending. So
there's also a possibility that something brand new drops in the next few weeks or next few months later this year. And it, takes the whole publication by storm.
Yep.
So I guess we'll just have to see for that.
We're definitely living in a weird time because we're also in the anime world. Like these anime, like Promised Neverland's new season just dropped or whatever. Dr. Stone's season, My Hero season, and then obviously Chainsaw Man later this year. There'll be another Jujutsu Kaisen season. We're still living in some of these mangas that are not. Food Wars finally finished its adaptation. Haikyuu still has anime to come. Even though the manga's over, there's still more Haikyuu to adapt, which that's probably going to happen. It's that popular. So there's still the anime seasons they're still catching up, which gives the manga time for us to get a hit. Like there needs to be another hit prepared so that we get another Jujutsu Kaisen moment when the next something else airs.
Yeah, it's Nine Dragons Balls Parade. Okay, oh
my god, we live in an anime period where it's just the time of season 2s, right? Season 3, season 4s. It's like no one's excited about the new stuff. And one thing that our show likes to encourage is getting people to watch anime that are brand new, that have never been known before. And I want to keep getting people to think about that because if you're not watching the new stuff, there's what's the medium's going to lose. It's going to lose itself. And so I don't know. We got to stay up on it. If you're a fan of anime manga, continue to support. Do what you can. Buy directly. Buy if you can, buy what you can, because it all just continue. And make sure you're paying for your streaming services. Viz Media is $1.99 a month, and you can read as much fucking manga as you want. Crunchyroll is only like $7 a month, and you can watch so much anime on there. It's minor, but those things support the industry in some ways, right? So,
I just realized that our Blood Oath got canceled.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Our Blood Oath.
Our Blood Oath. It was the one about the vampires.
Yeah, it was in Shonen. It was in Shonen. I mean, I'm not sad that it's canceled, but
looking like Vampire Night.
It was a battle.
It was giving me Vampire Night vibes. I was like, damn. But that's why
I had my joke lined up and everything.
No,
we were gonna look at the future because a new manga is airing in Shonen Jump next week.
What manga, Kenny?
Vampire Night. Damn it.
Oh my god. Okay.
Guys, this is the Vampire Night Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning into the Vampire Night Podcast, where all we do is talk about Vampire Night. We love Vampire Night. We're thankful that you love Vampire Night too, and you always tune in to the Vampire Night Podcast.
Y'all crazy.
I'm going to the manga shop and I'm buying every single goddamn volume of Vampire Night that I see.
This man, David, he loves Vampire Night. Damn it,
loves it.
Loves it. It's his favorite. Okay, boys, let's wrap this puppy up.
Yeah,
we're still doing a secret giveaway.
Secret giveaway. If you've made it to the end of this episode of the Uncensored Anime Podcast, then you could win that Nejire.
Yep.
Okay, but yeah, how do they enter again, boys?
Message us on Instagram, like the video, subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up.
That's it.
How many messages have we got on Instagram as of right now?
0.
Let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, that's why. Hey, it's a secret giveaway. This is a sought after item. Okay.
We're gonna give this away for free. Someone out there for free. All you have to do is follow those instructions, and you can get your free Nejire Hado.
Follow us on Instagram,
guys.
Subscribe to our channel, like the video, send us a DM on Instagram.
So hopefully,
slide in our DMs.
If you're here, you could be the first one to enter, and if you're the only one who enters, you get the pop. Last time we gave away Chainsaw Man, we had one entry, and you know what we did? We mailed that man the volume 1 of Chainsaw Man.
Yep.
We were not fucking around, okay? So if you're the only one who enters, you still win. You automatically win. So shoot your shot if you made it this far and make it happen. So as always, listeners and friends and family, whoever's listening to this, thank you guys so much for joining us on the Uncensored Anime Podcast. We love to chat about anime. We do it. We try to do it every week, and we're going to get back in schedule and back in time. We're definitely doing pretty good now, keeping our episodes up. So if you really are enjoying this, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, do all of that, because it helps to support the channel. Additionally, if you can go over to Spotify and Apple Podcasts, give us a thumbs up, give us a follow, give us a 5-star review. Those will be very helpful because it starts to promote our show to other people who are listening to similar stuff. So if you can do that, it'd be super awesome. Woo! So you guys know the drill. We're heading out. This is the Uncensored Anime Podcast. We're saying peace.